Welcome to Parenthood Bites, the podcast where we explore life as a parent in tech. I'm your host, Chow, and I have over 15 years of experience in tech, and I'm also currently working as a career coach. I'm the proud mother of 3 incredible boys. In each episode, we have an inspiring guest who will share their remarkable story. You'll find their wisdom and insights both relatable and enriching, because after all, we're all in this parenting journey together. So grab your favorite drink, get cozy, and let's dive into today's episode. Hi everyone! Welcome to episode 79 of Parenthood Bites. We're back with Nam, who is a director of product at Oracle and a father to 2 young kids, ages 1 and 4. Last week, we chatted with Nam about his journey into tech and the intentional career moves he made while starting his family. Today, we're diving deeper into his strategies for work-life balance, how he manages his time, and his perspectives on career development now as a parent of 2 toddlers. Hi, Nam. Thanks for joining us again. How was your weekend?
Hey, Chow. It was good. It was good. We had a lot of things going on. We had soccer for my son. We had a trip to the zoo. We had some meals together as a family, finally with the 1-year-old not causing a huge mess at the restaurant. So being able to eat where you're not shoving food down your mouth. So we had some good moments this weekend. Yeah. How was yours?
That's awesome. Mine was good too. Not as eventful, I feel like, because I feel like being able to go to a restaurant with your 1-year-old is a huge milestone. That's a huge step. And being able to realize what you're eating at the same time is another huge step.
Yeah, I'm a super slow eater, just generally. But then now it's like I just don't even enjoy food anymore.
You adapt, right?
Yeah, it's just sustenance. I just got to get through it so I can concentrate on the kids. But
Yeah.
yeah.
For sure. Or sometimes I'm like, okay, let me just finish taking care of them and then I'll focus on eating. But then it's like that time never comes. So it's like, let me just shove food down my throat and get on with whatever I need to do.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. So you said your kid is in soccer? That's cool.
Yeah, my 4-year-old, he's in soccer. I mean, it's 3 and 4-year-olds. So it's kind of it's like little kids in a huge group just chasing after the ball together. You have one kid crying, on the side, one kid picking flowers, one kid, it's all over the place. And what's funny is sometimes there's 2 fields of kids that are right next to each other and the ball goes onto the other field and the kids just keep going, right? And so then you get this crowd of 4 teams of kids just running and all the parents get back over here, trying to separate the kids. And it's this chaos, but it's really interesting. And with my son, he's in his 3rd season now. And we were super proud of him because he's gotten to the point of actually going for it and trying to kick the ball. Because season 1 was let's get on the field. Let's be comfortable being there with other kids.
Yeah.
Season 2 was let's run around, and have fun. And then now he's finally starting to touch the ball. And we're all right, we'll take it. There's obviously these other kids that are super good and they're just scoring goals and running and super confident. For my son, it's let's have fun. And we're just so proud of him for just touching the ball.
Yeah. And he's making progress,
Mm-hmm.
So how old was he when he first started soccer?
He was 3. I was a 3-year-old, so he was on the younger end, and the older kids were 4. And what I'd never realized was how big of an age difference 3 and 4 was. Just their physical abilities, their maturity. A 4-year-old's a lot bigger than a 3-year-old. And just being in that atmosphere, he was scared of it.
I feel like I would be scared. Were you terrified at first when you saw how much bigger the 4-year-olds were?
No, I didn't really know what to expect because to me it was kind of new, right? But yeah, it took him a while to warm up to it. But it's kind of nice seeing him now as one of the older kids, now warm, and it totally makes sense, And there's 3-year-olds on his team who are the ones that are sitting on the side a lot and picking flowers and stuff.
Yeah, that's cute. Is he any other activities or is it mainly soccer?
Right now it's mainly soccer. I want to get him to swimming. But he has to learn how to blow his nose. We keep trying, but that's the one thing we can't get him to learn how to do. And I hope that one day, he'll be able to do it. This is again kind of what I said last time, right? You got to teach these kids everything.
Right.
How do you not know how to blow your nose? But yeah, maybe it's very unintuitive. I don't know.
No, that was an eye opener for me too. I'm like, what do you mean? You just blow out with your nose? And they're like, I can't do it. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't do it? Isn't it just a natural thing you do? But I don't know. I never asked my mom if she had to teach me for a long time or what.
Yeah. Do you have your kids in activities?
They're right now in like taekwondo, and I try to sign up my kids for pickleball, but then they canceled it because I guess my kid was the only kid signed up for pickleball.
Oh
So
no.
I was like, geez, I'm like, here I am trying to get them to more sports, and then they keep canceling on me because nobody else wants to do it. So I guess I got to pick a more popular sport. Maybe
Uh,
pickleball is only popular with like older people.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
my husband loves it. I'm like, okay, but I guess not other 9-year-olds.
Mm. Are they all in the same sports or into the same things or?
Well, they're all into not doing anything. So I love that you're starting to foster at a younger age, because I feel like in retrospect I should have just forced them to do at a younger age. I was able to force them all to do taekwondo and they're all stuck now, and I was like, for self-defense. But now I'm like, okay, trying to get them each into something they're passionate about, and they're just
Mhm,
like, I just want to hang out and like I have too much homework or whatever. And I'm like, I get you have a lot of homework, but you got to still do something. So I'm trying
mhm,
to push them more, because also they're like, oh, school teams, you have to try out. What if I don't make it? And I'm like, oh, I should have made you do it earlier. So that's why I'm also like, it's awesome you're having him, regardless, right, of how
mhm,
well he does it, whatever, as long as he's willing to, that's awesome, and he's
mhm,
excited about it. That's cool. So I'm trying to, like, with the 9-year-old, I'm like, at least he's at that age where I can still force him to do some things. I don't have to really
mhm.
like, bribe him yet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, let me try to get them to do more of those things. But they'll do
Mhm,
like Chinese school, and I recently got them to join like this Buddhist class too, which they're willing to go with me and learn. But now I'm trying to see more sports they can do.
mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because they just don't want to move. I'm like, gosh, I think the pandemic had a lot to do with that, where they were just
Mhm.
like used to just hanging out at home with their computers.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, like, I'm sure 10, 20 years later, people will do studies around like the impact of the pandemic on childhood development.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's long-term repercussions for all of that that we don't even know now. Yeah.
Exactly, for sure. I mean, even now, some of the teachers are telling me like they see a difference, in terms of how much they're learning, how much they're picking up. Because during pandemic, it was like, let's be real, we were all just trying to survive. So it wasn't really
Mhm.
a focus on like how much they could pick up at that time. It was just like, get through your school day and let's just move on.
Yeah, yeah. I have nieces where they were in high school or middle school during the pandemic, and they're like, "Oh, it was great. We were just on our laptops playing games all day, and classes were
Right.
super easy." I'm like, "Okay."
Exactly. That's what they say. And I'm like, no, that means it wasn't great. That's, like, oh gosh. So now it's like their teachers saying, hey, we're trying to make up for some of the lost time. But then they kind of struggle because it was so easy. And now it's such a huge difference from what they had during the pandemic. So I
Mhm.
guess we'll
Yeah.
see.
Mhm.
So, how has your work life changed since you became a
I
parent?
think the biggest thing with work is I no longer have, I used to like brute force it in a sense. If I needed to get something done or like tackle something super complicated, just throw more hours at it. You can work as long as you want into the evening times, into at nighttime, like do whatever you need to do. And it was a matter of just pure effort. And now, obviously, like it's not, you don't have that energy anymore. And it's not even time is what I'm realizing, but on any given day I only have a certain amount of like focus and energy. So like sometimes by the time we get through evening routines and nighttime routines and you struggle to put your kid to bed and it's 9 or 10 o'clock, my wife and I are looking at each other, it's like, yeah, we're tired, like all the chores are done, but it's like we can't do much more because you don't have the energy. You might have like an hour left, but like, are you really going to like jump back in and do your work? So you have to be a lot more strategic about where you put your energy, like in work as well. And it took me a long time to realize that like not all work is like the same, or it's not all valued in the same way. It's not as impactful in the same way. And it's picking and choosing your battles. And, I used to be able to clean out my inbox every single day and answer every single email that someone sent me, regardless of how big or how small it is. And I just can't do that anymore.
Yeah, that's a huge mind shift, right? That you have to go through to kind of get to that point.
Yeah, yeah, it's out of necessity. And I think the other main thing for me has been with career trajectory and like how much I associate it with my identity or like how much I care about it in a certain sense. It's not that I don't care, but I think the way I care about it is a little bit different because you go through high school trying to achieve and do well in the SATs, so you get into a good college, and then you try to get a good job and then try to get a promotion. You want to become a manager and all that stuff. And even in the consulting world, it was kind of this upper out structure where every 2 or 3 years you're expected to make the next level or you are expected to transition into something else. And so I was always on this achieve, kind of like grinding mindset, which made my switch back into an individual contributor role and almost restarting part of my career pretty tough. Eventually I made it back towards like managing more people and growing my career. But now I'm at a point in my career where I'm like, how much further do I actually want to go? And it's a conscious decision, I feel, at this point of like, how far do you actually want to go? I look at the lives that my manager and the managers that he has and my skip and the pressure they feel and the things that they work on. And I start questioning whether or not those are things that will make me fulfilled in life versus the other things that I now have in life to fulfill me. And part of me thinks that, right now I'm still kind of in like two youngish kids, I'm still like deep into it. Maybe my mindset will change in like 5 years or so. But for now, I think I'm okay where I'm at, which is very different in my career. Because before I was always pushing for expanding my scope, increasing, my influence in the organization, getting promotion. For me now, recently, I was told I need to take on this other area. And my reaction is the opposite. I was more like, oh man, this is like a lot more complexity. It adds a lot more stress to my role. It's like, do I really want it? Which is like the first time I've ever thought that way in my life.
Yeah, and then immediately you're forced to think about, okay, like you said, what battles do I choose? How do I prioritize? What do I need to move around to even make it work? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before it's just like, all right, I'm just gonna throw more hours at it and I'll make it work that way.
Yeah, and it was almost like I didn't really look around me because everyone was in that mindset too, in the consulting workforce at least. Like we were all in our 20s and early 30s, and everyone was like that. I thought that was normal. Whereas now, where I'm at now, it's like there's a lot more folks my age group or older who have kids, who have other things outside of work. And when I talk to some of them, they say that they're happy in their role and, like they're fulfilled and they don't feel like they want to be like a VP one day and they're completely okay with it. And I can see how that's like a very like interesting path to take as well. And equally as fulfilling. And you can be fulfilled in many ways in your career by doing that versus just growing all the time.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, it evolves, right? And it shifts as your kids get older. Your mindset might shift, but it's like this is where you're good right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's neat. So, what would you say would be the biggest struggle or challenge being a parent in tech?
I think the biggest struggle is probably beyond tech as well. But in our roles, a lot of times it's very outcome based. And so you want to take a vacation? Sure. Well, we have unlimited PTO. Go ahead, take it. But my wife and I talk about it and we're like, we're just going to pay for it, when we come back because, things are still there. The work is always there. You don't stop thinking about it sometimes, when your day ends. And sometimes you're at night thinking about something. For my wife, she went to school to be a pharmacist, but she actually works at a pharmaceutical company, so not doing pharmacist work. And sometimes she thinks about how, like, if she was a pharmacist, she can go do her hours, come home, and not think about any of it. But now she's thinking about it at night. And then I think also a lot of tech companies are global. And so you have global hours in a lot of these things. You have teams in the Philippines or in India, in Europe, and people are always working. So there's always something happening. And I think you need to be very mindful of like how much you disconnect with it during like your hours that you need with your kids. But that is always pulling you. Someone's always pulling you for something.
Right. So, how do you set your
I think
boundaries?
it's out of necessity, really. So we also have like a big dog who needs to be walked every day. And so every day at a specific time, like my wife will go pick up the kids if she's working from home, or now I'll walk the dog, or vice versa. I'll pick up the kids and she'll walk the dog. But we schedule it so every day at that time we go, because if we don't, the kids are going to be at daycare. They're going to be the last kids there. They're going to be all upset. And then by the time they get home, it's going to be late and dinner's going to be late. And then bath time's going to be horrible. And then
Everyone's
they're
gonna be
going to,
grumpy.
yeah, it's not going to be good for anyone And so we try to get the kids like on time and get them to bed on time. And so it's like a natural break in our day, which is good, a good thing. Versus in the past where you just kind of keep going without that natural break and you can just keep working into the eating times, like not even eat. So I think we've learned to like just disconnect during those hours. And I feel like kids are important enough that I don't feel like I need to make an excuse for them when there's like a meeting or something where even if it's some really important thing with, a VP or GM, okay, 6, 7 o'clock, I need to meet and talk about this. I'm like, I'm sorry, that's my time with my kids. And people generally respect that is what I've found. You just need to, like communicate that versus like just doing it anyway. And I don't feel bad about it. So I think that's one barrier. And then the second barrier is I just don't have the energy anymore. If someone wants to meet with me at 9 or 10, I'm just like, I just don't have the energy. I'm like, that's when I'm supposed to be done like washing bottles and stuff, and I don't think I can be helpful to you during that time.
Yeah. And like, come on, after we washed a bunch of bottles, nobody wants to get on a call after that. Like, we're done.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the other mindset shift in my career has also helped me. In the past, if I was trying to like gun for that next promotion, become like a VP one day, I would just say yes to like everything that I could. And I realized that I don't need to put that pressure on myself right now.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned you have a big dog. I'm always curious, like, how does your dog get along with the kids?
Oh yeah, so she's a Samoyed. She's like this big white fluffy dog. And I thought it was more of like protecting my kids from my dog. It's more like protecting my dog from my kids.
Yeah,
Because
that's what I hear a lot.
yeah, kids are like so unpredictable, and as like a little kid, like they'll like pull on her and stuff. And I'm like, oh no, like,
You try to
and
ride
they'll,
her.
yeah, I'll push her face, ride her. I'm like, oh, don't break her back, like we were gonna sit on her. And so she's like super good with the kids, and it's more like protecting her from them in a sense.
Like, she's probably super patient with them,
Yeah,
huh?
she is. But then I don't know if they appreciate, maybe they're too young to appreciate like a dog in the way that I do. Because like growing up, as an older kid, I guess, I always wanted a dog, couldn't have one. And now it's like, oh, you have this fluffy dog. That's so great. And my son, he's like, hey, Dad, when Nala dies, can we get a corgi? And I'm like,
Oh,
don't, like,
oh
like
no.
she's only 5. Like, let's not talk about her like that.
Earmuffs.
Yeah, or like let's get a cat. And I'm like, you already have a dog. Or I'll see a dog outside. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I'm like, you have like a dog at home.
You have a really cool dog already.
Yeah, but I guess that's just how kids think. So
Right, because that's mine. That's not what I want. There's something else that's shinier out there.
yeah, yeah.
Like you said, they don't realize it yet.
Hmm.
But then when they get older, they'll realize, like, oh, we actually have a really cool dog.
Yeah. What kind of dog do you have?
We have a mix. She's Australian cattle mix. And when we brought her back from the shelter, I think it was 3 years ago, and the kids are like, oh, this is great. We're not even going to play with our iPads. We're just going to play with the dog all the time. And lies, all lies. I'm not saying they don't help. They still help and they still love her. They still want to play with her, but they're not going to sacrifice their iPad time to play
Mm,
with her. That's just not happening.
yeah, yeah. And she sounds like she probably needs a lot of exercise, huh?
You would think. That's what I thought. So I would take her out a lot. And now she's just like, no, I'm good. Like when I go to her, I'm like, let's walk, Rosie. And she'll just turn around and not even look at me. She's just like, no, I'm done. I'm like, are you serious? I thought I was going to get all my steps in with
Hmm.
her. And I did in the beginning. I think when she was younger, she was more obedient. And now she's like, no. And she's only 3. And she's like, no, I'm good. I'm not going.
Oh
So
wow.
but it's fun, I think it's fun to have kids around the dog, have them grow up together and
Hmm.
nurture that relationship, even if they only want to play with her when they're in a good mood. Or
Hmm.
when you're not allowed to play with your iPad. Okay, then I guess we'll go play with the dog.
Yeah, yeah. It is cute when they do interact, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. When they get along, it's good.
Mhm.
So what would you say is the biggest benefit of being a parent in
I
tech?
think being in tech, there's a lot of flexibility in some cases. In some workplaces, there's a lot of ability to work from home at times. I was actually work from home before the pandemic even. And after the pandemic, it's even reinforced that because for my business unit, they actually got rid of the office and never brought one back. So I'm probably going to be remote for the foreseeable future. And so I think there is a lot of flexibility in tech. And yeah, and I think obviously tech as a business itself has good margins, like as long as you can find the right product to build and you're hitting like some need in the market, you're able to make good revenue from it. And you're not necessarily grinding every single day to like stay alive. Whereas in consulting, it's like every day you're having to prove yourself for that next project. And so in tech, I think that translates to a lot better work-life balance because it's less about like 100% great execution and it's more about like finding like that niche, that exact place where you can provide value that people are willing to pay for. So it's a different mindset of selling your time, just your time for money, and it's selling some type of value. And so I think that comes with better benefits in terms of like work-life balance, flexibility, and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. But also, like you were saying, because it's so flexible, sometimes it's easy to like continue thinking about it when you go home and
Hmm.
stuff. And that's where it's up to you to kind of set those boundaries on your own.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So, what is your approach to work life
I don't
balance?
know that I have a good approach to it. I probably fell into it more than I proactively figured out a way to do it. I know some people are a lot more thoughtful about it in terms of like, I'm only going to like be on my phone from this hour to this hour and so forth. For me, it's just come out of like necessity and just how much energy I have during the day. It's like I'm forced into a certain work life balance because I can't give more to my work. I've given it everything I could. And so maybe that natural barrier is what's putting the balance up for me. And I think that probably just comes from like how much fulfillment I get out of like being a dad and my kids. And if I was doing something I didn't enjoy as much, then I'd probably be more drawn to like growing my career or like finding fulfillment through that avenue. But I think kids have just been so wonderful in terms of like my life and what they've done for me that I think it has been hard in that aspect. And they've helped me transition to a world where I care more about my family and my normal life than just mindlessly trying to like put everything into this career. And at the end of the day, it's like, for what? You know, like the career is there to help support the rest of our lives, not to be our lives. And some people are able to find a lot of fulfillment in their careers, in their jobs. I think some industries or jobs may lend itself more to it than others. But at least for me, I think I'm pretty happy now with where I'm at. But it came naturally and not as like an intentional thing.
Right, right. As you were having kids and stuff, then it naturally kind of progressed towards that.
Mhm.
So, what do you do to relax or
So
unwind?
recently, I got back into volleyball, which is something that I played in high school. I played a little bit just recreationally, like throughout that time, but I was never able to like play a lot until recently. I did decide to get back into it. I joined a league with some of my coworkers, and we played in that league, and that's actually brought a lot of fulfillment to me. It's something that I'm doing just for myself and something that my wife is helping me do as well. Because obviously, if I'm gone, then she's like taking care of the kids, and or a lot of times I'll be like putting the baby down and then I'm running, you know, to get to the game on time. But just doing something for yourself, you know, is nice after like 4 years of feeling like you're pouring every extra ounce of energy you have into like these other human beings, which is fulfilling. But it's nice to just do something for yourself as well.
Yeah, being a parent is super fulfilling, but at the same time, it's like we still have to remember to take care of ourselves.
Yeah. The only hard part is now, like you mentioned that I look like I did like before. I might look kind of young because I have like a little bit of a baby face, but I don't feel young anymore. And volleyball reminds me of that as I'm jumping and like my knees are hurting. You know, my wife saw me walking home one day. I was going up the stairs also. She's like, "Are you like an old man or something? Like, what is going on here? Like, are you okay? Like, should you be like doing this stuff?" But she's right. It's like I have to like stretch now, you know, like my knees are hurting more. I can't like lift weights the way I used to. Right now it's more for like protecting my joints and stuff. I sound like, you know, like I'm in my 50s or 60s or something, but yeah, it's a reality check.
You're not in your 40s yet, right?
No, not yet. Not yet. I'm in late 30s now.
Yeah. Wait till you hit your
Oh yeah.
40s. Then it's like, wait, I just woke up. Why does my neck hurt? Why does my back hurt? Or like, just randomly.
Yeah, yeah. And for me, it's not like the working out and doing heavy lifting that's like breaking my body now. It's like I was holding my son the other week and he did, you know, how kids do that back arch thing when they do the tantrum? He like did a back
Yes.
arch. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, my back. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get it. Like, as you get older, right? You're just like, what's going on? I thought I was healthy. I thought I was taking care of myself, but I guess not. So it's great that you are going back into like volleyball and doing things to get your joints moving and stuff like that. Cause man, plus also carrying little kids too. That takes a lot
Yeah,
out of you
yeah.
too. Cause you're constantly bending over, picking them
Yeah.
up
You
and
think
stuff.
about like, you know, at work, they teach you to be all ergonomic, right? You're sitting like perfectly in your chair and like perfectly aligned and your arms at the right. And you're dealing with kids and you're like, none of this is ergonomic, any of it, right? Getting into cars and in car seats as they're struggling, like carrying strollers and like none of it is good for your body.
Yeah, yeah. But you get amazed at all the stuff you can
Hmm.
carry, and your wife too, probably, right? Like it's like, whoa, she's carrying like a kid and a bag and a stroller and like, just a bunch of stuff. And you just realize, wow, I could really multitask and push myself to another
Yeah.
level.
You also like can see yourself like almost from like a third person, like, oh man, he must look so ridiculous, you know, like carrying a kid in a backpack and their pillow because they absolutely need a pillow during daycare and their umbrella because they want to bring an
Yeah.
umbrella to school and their toy stuffy because they just want that. And you're just like, all right, fine.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I used to be like, I'm never gonna drive a minivan. I'm not being mini. Oh man, minivans are so
Yeah.
great for kids. Oh, it's so with that sliding door and that trunk. I'm just like, yes, just it does everything. I don't know how I would survive without it.
Yeah, when you view the world through your practicality lens, versus I want to look cool.
Right. Right. It was like we both had two-door cars, and they were nice little cars, whatever. And now we both have like, a sedan and a minivan. That's our vehicles now. It's just, like you said, just practicality. That's what it's about
Yeah, I
now.
remember showing my wife, did you know that this van has like a built-in vacuum on it? I'm like,
Wait, do you have a van that has a
no,
built-in
I just saw
vacuum?
an advertisement for one. And like,
Whoa.
I'm like, that's so cool. Like the kids' snacks are all everywhere. And it's like, man, that'd be so useful. But it's like, yeah, I guess this is what we care about, in our late 30s, 40s.
Yeah. I mean, when we first got our van, it has that button, right, where the trunk just pops open and then you press it and it comes down. And I was like, okay, whatever. I might not need that. That's lazy. Oh my gosh. When you're carrying the stroller, the kid, the bag, it's like the best
Oh,
feature.
yeah.
And the sliding doors, you just press the button, it just opens and they hop in. It's like, yes, that's
Yeah, I
amazing.
remember trying to hit that button with like my hat, the brim of my hat, because I'm carrying so much stuff. I couldn't do it, but yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So, if you could give one piece of advice to other parents who are struggling in their careers and stuff, what would that be? Especially since, you've gone through different careers, been on both sides. What's something you wish you knew back
I
then?
guess I would say before kids is like your time to like grind it out and work really hard. Like I don't regret any of the time I spent like working 60, 80-hour weeks or whatnot, because it helped me get into a place where when I had kids, when I needed the flexibility, I could be in a position where I could have that. So I think it's okay to have different stages in your career on both sides, right? A stage where you're working super hard and a stage where you don't need to actually push as hard. And don't worry about struggling with the change as much, because I think before I actually had kids, I struggled, obviously. But like when you have like something to look forward to, something that's actually inspiring you to make the change and for a good reason, it'll feel more natural. So I would say just take life, just as it comes, and things will naturally help. And don't try to like force fit, I guess, your life into what you think it should be, because things will change a lot and you'll never know how you'll react to any of it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that ties in really well with what you said in the last episode as well of like, you can't try to plan things, just adapt and deal with it as it comes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Nam, for chatting with us again and for sharing all your insights and experiences. And it was just really cool to catch up and see you again, too. So thank you.
Yeah, it was really nice seeing you, Xiao. And I guess I feel like some things have changed, but you feel like the same person in a sense. You just have, more kids now, and
And Hello Kitty still, right?
yeah, Hello Kitty there. Yeah, it was really great catching up.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And hope you have a great rest of your week.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Parenthood Bites. We hope you found our episode informative and entertaining. If you're a parent in the tech world or know someone who is, we'd love to hear from you. Please reach out to us at chow@parenthoodbites.co, and we'll be thrilled to add your experiences to our interviews. That's chow, CHIAO, @parenthoodbites.co. And to our potential sponsors out there, if you're a business or know of one that would like to support and partner with our podcast, please don't hesitate to get in touch. You can also reach us at chow@parenthoodbites.co. Thank you once again for tuning in, and we wish you a fantastic rest of your week. Until next time, take care and stay curious.